Hi, Mystery Recapped here. Today, I'm going to explain an action thriller movie called Hard Hit. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. The movie opens as we meet a wealthy man named Song, who works as a manager at Barun Bank of Busan. One morning, Song gets ready for work and exits the house along with his teenage daughter Hai-in and little son Min-jun. He plans to drop them off at school before heading off to work, but as they get in the car, Song notices a strange smell. However, he doesn't pay much attention to it. Besides, it might have been him, and says goodbye to his wife before driving away. Not long after, Song hears a phone ringing nearby and tells his daughter to answer, but she claims it's not hers. Song then checks the glove compartment and finds a phone ringing there, which leaves him in shock. He thinks it must be his driver's and answers it, when a stranger speaks on the other end, claiming he has some information regarding his car. But Song thinks he's just a scammer and immediately hangs up. Moments later, he sees that the phone's wallpaper is a picture of his family, which shocks him even more. He asks Hai-in about it, and she says it was their family vacation last year, in which he was too busy to go. She also claims it's her mom's profile picture on Facebook, and Song is confused about whose phone it could be. The phone rings again, and this time, the caller reveals he knows everything about Song and his position in the bank. He then reveals a shocking piece of information, claiming that he has put a pressure-sensitive bomb under their seats, and if anyone tries to leave, the vehicle will explode. However, Song assumes it's just some sick joke and hangs up the call. Shortly after, Song arrives at a gas station, and when he's about to exit his car, he receives another call. The caller asks if he has noticed a strange smell in the car, which finally seems to scare the banker. The man reveals that he has been tracking Song and dares to exit the vehicle, after which his kids will die in seconds. At this moment, the gas station employee arrives and begins yelling at Song to refill his vehicle by getting out, but the scared man just gives the employee some money and asks him to fill the tank.
And bring me some shrimp.
Afterwards, Song continues driving, and upon the caller's instructions, he touches under his seat and indeed finds a bomb there, which horrifies him. The caller reveals that he has the detonator, and if they call the cops, he will trigger the bomb. A terrified Song asks what he wants, and the caller demands 1.7 billion won to be transferred to his account and another 960 million won in cash. Song claims he doesn't have that much money, but the caller insists that as a manager of such a major bank, it's not difficult for him to gather the required funds. Shortly after, they arrive in front of the kid's school, and Min-jun's friends approach the car to greet him, but Song hurriedly asks his son not to leave. Maybe he should have said that earlier, and also chases the kids away. His children don't understand what's happening, so the caller forces the banker to say the truth. Song then reluctantly informs the kids that someone has put a bomb under their seats, which sends them into panic mode.
6, 7.
Not long after, Song gets a call from his colleague, who is very frantic and scared. It turns out he has also received a call from the stranger, who has put a bomb under his car and is demanding money. Song thus asks for his location and soon manages to reach there and meets his colleague. He notices that his colleague's wife is also in the car, but she's trying to leave because it's a very important day for her. She doesn't believe the bomb threats, so Song talks to her calmly and asks her to stay still for now, to which she reluctantly agrees. In the meantime, a man approaches and yells at Song because he is blocking the road. The banker apologizes and proceeds to drive away to find a place to park. At the same time, his colleague's wife is tired of waiting, so she gets out of the car. The vehicle then suddenly explodes, which instantly kills her and her husband. This horrifies everyone there, including Song and his family, who finally realize that the threat is real. His children are traumatized, and to make matters worse, the explosion causes a piece of metal to pierce Min-jun's leg, causing him to bleed profusely. Min-jun begins screaming in pain, throwing Song into a state of sheer panic. The caller demands the money once again, and seeing his son in such a dire condition, Song reluctantly agrees to pay. He pleads that he must take his son to the hospital first, but the caller claims that he doesn't care about the boy's life. To make matters worse, the caller raises his demand, insisting that Song also has to pay for his deceased co-worker's share. Upon hearing this, the banker argues that withdrawing such a large sum would raise suspicions at the bank, but the caller reveals that he already knows how much money Song has in his offshore account. Afterwards, Song calls his subordinate and tells him he has discovered a new investment opportunity. He asks the subordinate to immediately persuade their VIP clients to invest for competitive interest rates. His subordinate complies and contacts some clients, but even so, the funds collected remain insufficient to meet the caller's demands. A desperate Song asks his subordinate to send a list of VIPs so he can talk to them personally. Later, Song speaks with their most important client and tries to convince her that there is a once-in-a-lifetime investment opportunity property. The woman is intrigued and says that they have just sold a piece of land as well, but before making any decision, she needs to consult her husband. Song begins to insist that it has to be done immediately, but the woman feels uneasy about this and refuses to make any decision immediately. Next, the caller insists that they will start with cash first and instructs Song to call his wife and have her deliver the money. With no other choice, Song immediately calls his wife and asks her to withdraw all the money from the bank and deliver it to a location. She is shocked by this and also hears her son crying in the background, which worries her, but Song insists that everything is fine, and even Hai In assures their mom that they're okay. The suspicious woman says she will tell the cops, but Song strongly advises her not to do so. He then pleads with his wife to do as he says, to which she finally agrees. Meanwhile, at the police station, some officers are investigating the explosion that occurred earlier. They watch CCTV footage and recognize Song, who was talking to his coworker before the incident, and it seems like they were arguing. They also notice Song moving away right before the explosion, which suggests that he knew about it beforehand. They thus assume Song to be the culprit, believing that he must have killed his coworker due to some business rivalry, which is a stretch considering they didn't exactly see him yeet a grenade in that footage. Not long after, Song pulls up in front of the bank where he notices his wife has also arrived, but she has brought a friend, which worries him. The wife heads inside to withdraw the money, while the friend tries to talk to Song and knocks on his window, but the worried man gestures for her to stay away and drives off from there. After withdrawing the money, Song asks his wife to place the bag in front of a mailbox, as per the caller's instructions. She complies, but soon says that a tall man is approaching her and staring creepily. Song immediately drives there and tells his wife to leave right away. However, when he arrives, the police have already arrested the man with the help of his wife. Upon seeing this, Song sighs in relief that he and his family are finally safe, but to his horror, the caller is still on the phone and tells him they made a huge mistake by contacting the police. He then begins a countdown for an explosion, and both Song and his kids brace themselves for the worst. But instead of the vehicle, the mailbox explodes in the middle of a crowded street. The street is engulfed in smoke, but fortunately, Song's wife survives the blast and is able to communicate with him. Following this, a panicked Song drives away from there, while the caller demands that he hand over the money at any cost. At the same time, the police watch another CCTV footage and notice that Song was once again at the site of the explosion. They conclude that he must have something to do with the ongoing incidents and send a search party after him. Meanwhile, Song calls his subordinate, but it turns out he didn't manage to collect enough money. Song yells at him and informs the caller that he will transfer whatever he has and begs that the children be let go. However, the caller says he won't cooperate unless he receives every penny he demanded. To make matters worse, Min Jun has already lost a lot of blood.
Oh shit, bud, I forgot about that.
And is on the verge of passing out. Song asks the caller to let his son go to the hospital first, but still, the man shows no mercy. Shortly after, Song is approached by a police officer who asks him to get out of the car for a conversation, but the banker refuses and begins driving away at full speed while looking for a hospital. This forces the police to take drastic action, so they deploy several police cars and even helicopters to capture him. Following this, an intense chase ensues before the police and Song, but they eventually manage to corner him with nowhere to go. An officer arrives and asks Song to get out of the car, but he tells them that there's a bomb under the seats. Upon being forced by the caller, he even says that if they don't let him go, he will detonate the bomb along with his children, which shocks the officers. Not long after, an explosive team arrives, and the chief officer orders the snipers to shoot Song the moment his children leave the car. A female officer approaches and pleads with Song to release his kids, but the desperate man refuses and then shows the phone's on-call display. The officer understands the gravity of the situation and hands them some bottles of water with a walkie-talkie so they can hear everything. After the cops leave, Song places the walkie-talkie near the phone and tries to speak with the caller, but no one responds on the other end. He then receives a text message from the caller instructing him to throw the walkie-talkie outside. The desperate man has no choice and throws it, while the officers watch in shock. Song looks around and notices a crowd watching him, so he assumes the caller must be nearby. He honks the car horn, and he can hear it from the caller's end as well, confirming that the man is nearby. Moments later, Song notices a man speaking on the phone in the crowd, but he can only watch helplessly and can't even alert the officers. The caller then tells him that if he had led an ordinary life, none of this would have happened. He asks Song to recall his actions from 6 years ago when he was working at Berun Bank, but before he can say anything else, the call abruptly ends, as it turns out the police have blocked all signals in the area, preventing the caller from contacting Song. Next, the officer asks for his phone, and Song gives them his personal one instead of the one provided by the kidnapper. The bomb squad arrives to check the car and discovers that the bombs are only under the front seats, not the back. This means the kids are safe, and Min Jun is finally taken away to receive medical attention. However, when it comes to Ha-in, she is very reluctant to leave her father alone. The officers try to take her out, but Ha-in notices a sniper waiting to shoot her father in the distance. So, she makes a daring decision and quickly rushes to the front seat, which means she can't leave either. Upon seeing this, her father becomes very emotional and asks why she did that and how she knows what a sniper rifle is, to which Ha-in responds that she couldn't leave him to die. Meanwhile, the female officer accuses the police chief of putting snipers in place and scaring the girl. However, the chief argues that Song is the real culprit, as there are no call records on his phone with the stranger, contrary to his claim. Not long after, a young man named Jin Woo arrives, claiming to be Song's brother and asking to speak with him. The police also allow it, as they think he might convince Song to release his daughter. Soon, Jin Woo approaches Song and then shockingly reveals that he is the caller. An enraged Song grabs him, but Jin Woo threatens to trigger the bomb. He says he isn't afraid to die since he has nothing to lose and that they should all explode together. Upon hearing this, Song panics and promises he will get all the money and begs the man to at least let his daughter go. Jin Woo surprisingly agrees and temporarily deactivates the bomb, allowing Ha-in to safely exit the vehicle. But then, in a shocking twist, he reveals that he has already triggered a time bomb with only 18 minutes left before it detonates. He declares that he is taking Ha-in with him, and if he doesn't receive the money by then, the girl will die. Following this, Jin Woo walks away with the girl, and the police do not intervene, assuming he is a family member. Meanwhile, a desperate Song also drives away, pursued by a convoy of police cars. His wife, on the other hand, watches TV and is shocked to see a strange man, claiming to be Song's brother. She immediately informs the police that the man isn't really his brother, but by then, it's too late, as Jin Woo has already disappeared from their sight. Shortly after, Song calls his superior and pleads with him to lend the money, claiming it's a matter of life or death, but the man coldly refuses, saying that since Song took a large sum of money from clients without permission, the bank will file a fraud case against him. This leaves Song feeling hopeless, so he calls his wife and asks her to wire transfer money from all his accounts to the callers. Jin Woo then calls Song and instructs him to come to a specific dock, which reminds Song of his actions from 6 years ago. Through a flashback, it is revealed that 6 years ago, Song worked as a regular employee at Baroon Bank. The bank had used deceptive marketing tactics to convince some chemical factory workers to invest in their company. When the market suddenly crashed, many investors lost their life savings, including a poor pregnant woman who had invested everything she owned. However, instead of helping, Song destroyed the evidence and covered up the bank's misconduct. For his role in hiding the fraud, his superiors rewarded him with a promotion to branch manager. The desperate pregnant woman then pleaded with Song and asked for his advice to at least recover her principal investment, but the greedy man ignored her. It turns out the pregnant woman was none other than Jin Woo's wife, and now he has come to exact revenge for his family. In the present, Jin Woo is driving with Ha-in when he receives a call from someone saying that billions of won have been deposited into their accounts. Jin Woo claims it's because he filed a lawsuit against the fraudulent bank and won, and now it's time for all the victims to start a new life. Shortly after, Song arrives at the dock near the same chemical factory, where there are many protest signs blaming the bank. He then finds his daughter tied up and scared in another vehicle. Song apologizes to her, saying that he has done many horrible things in his life, blinded by greed, and now he is paying for them. Meanwhile, Jin Woo arrives and sits in the front seat with Song. The banker apologizes for everything that happened and promises to fight for all the victims, but Jin Woo refuses and reveals how he and his wife had filed a lawsuit against Baroon Bank. To pursue the case, they had to take a loan from another bank, which trapped them in a cycle of financial debt. His wife eventually took her own life, along with their unborn child, and that was the moment he lost everything. Next, Jin Woo asks Song to drive the car into the water so it won't explode near his daughter. Song reluctantly agrees and drives into the sea, but the car is submerged before the bomb can detonate. Jin Woo loses consciousness, and Song tries to help him get out, but is unsuccessful. Soon, the bomb explodes, but Song manages to escape the blast and is rescued by the police. He then asks the officers about Jin Woo, but it turns out the man tragically passed away. After this incident, Song decides to turn his life around and fight for the innocent victims. He goes public and confesses all of the fraudulent actions that he and the bank were involved in. He admits that he had destroyed the original evidence, but his testimony is enough to bring the culprits to justice. In the final scene, Song is driving when he receives a call from his superior, who begs him not to go through with it and even offers to reinstate his job. However, Song hangs up, making it clear that he will not stop until justice has been served.